When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some
Since the first immigration detention center in 1864, these establishments have been known to be a place where containment turns into imprisonment. The unfair and criminal treatment in immigration detention centers frames immigrants as felons and perpetrators. The criminalization of immigration is supported by and perpetuates white supremacy. As seen, even our president enforces these views. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, is a police force formed to round up undocumented people and begin deporting them. Because immigrants are being publicly apprehended by police officers, they are indistinguishable from criminals in the media. ICE also markets itself as a task force to make the nation safe from criminals and plays on white fear of Latinx criminality. The Trump administration is also enforcing the criminalization of immigration detention centers. He plans on expanding the number of detention centers currently in the United States and wants to abolish the current policy that allows families to stay together during detention. If implemented, many of these new immigration detention centers will be privately owned, which means inmate conditions will be exceptionally cruel. Some immigration detention centers have been known to go as far as solitary confinement as a form of detainment. This further shows how immigrants are seen and treated as felons. Under his plan, more and more immigrants will be detained by police officers and treated as criminals. This will only feed into white fear of foreigners and reinforce the othering of Latinx communities.
I mean, I know it's a jail, I know it's a prison, but I never thought that they would treat them like criminals. There's big, huge balls of razor wire and double fences, just like they were somebody that had murdered somebody or something, you know.
Joe Arpaio, a white supremacist and former local sheriff in Maricopa County, Arizona, has served for 24 years. He has arrested hundreds of immigrants and has treated them unfairly in detention centers. His detention centers are notoriously inhumane, as he rations detainees food and humiliates them for not understanding English. Joe Arpaio and many other local law enforcement officers are known for racially profiling people and arresting and detaining Latinx people without proper evidence. This is an example of how white supremacy is the driving force behind the criminalization of immigration detention centers. People who look foreign are being unfairly targeted and detained, and Joe Arpaio is only one example. But this isn't supposed to be happening according to the rules that the Obama administration laid out. In 2011, Obama appointed John Morton to be the head of ICE, who issued a series of memos that came to be known as the Morton Memos. They say that the U.S. does not have the resources to detain and deport all 11 million undocumented immigrants currently living here. So, the DHS wants ICE to focus on the ones that they most want out of the country, which is the violent criminals. This was almost a step towards the better treatment of undocumented people, but these are guidelines rather than rules. In reality, ICE can deport anyone they want, whether or not they have any criminal record, as long as they feel that they have the resources. This is because the act of coming into the country without a visa is itself considered a crime. The Morton Memos are not supported by many parties, including anti-immigration lobbying groups such as FAIR, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, which was founded by John Tanton, a white supremacist friendly with Holocaust deniers and Klan members. FAIR agrees with the ICE principle that all undocumented people are inherently criminals, but dislikes the idea of the Morton Memos for encouraging more illegal immigration and flawed and threatening national security.
Before we go any further, I want to recognize the ICE and Border Patrol officers in this room today and to honor their service, and not just because they unanimously endorsed me for president. That helps, but that's not the only reason.
FAIR is a powerful organization in that it uses hate speech to inspire fear and nationalism and resentment towards undocumented people, much like Donald Trump. It has a multi-million-dollar endowment and boasts 1.3 million members and has the power to effect legislation to directly disenfranchise undocumented people and keep America white, as their literature suggests. Lobbying from groups such as FAIR, the American Immigration Control Foundation, and the California Coalition for Immigration Reform contributed to the writing and passing of laws such as Alabama's HB 56, which made it legal for police to stop anyone on the street that they had reasonable suspicion to believe was undocumented, thus paving the way for blatant racial profiling. Sheltering undocumented immigrants or transporting them to work, church, and school is also criminalized. It is important to stay aware that the people targeted by these laws and hate groups are just trying to make a better life for themselves and their families, and many of them don't even have a criminal record. Their treatment as dangerous criminals is pervasive and perpetuated by the media. Giving credit to these harmful portrayals only fuels racist stereotypes and legitimizes white supremacy.